So the next part that I'm going to do is magazine. I have this rough block out over here, and I want to make a completed mag out of it. So here's basically the reference for the magazine. This one is not the best because the material is too glossy. On the white background you can't see actually the silhouette, but here are screenshots from videos. It's pretty clear how it looks like. So as you can see in Maya here, I don't have reference, but that's okay because I have a spec for the height of the gun with extended mag. It's 5.5 inches. So let's create a box with this dimension. Height, nope. Depth, yeah. 5.5. Place it right here, and here we have some like rough representation of where the mag should end. So let's go back into ZBrush and let's use this mag to do all the details. And there's one more thing before that I want to do, is basically the cutout for the magazine in the gun, in the frame, is like 100% tight with the mesh for the magazine. I want to make it like a bit wider so there will be a gap between the mag and the frame. So I'll just hide this, turn on the wireframe, and like just scale it sideways just a bit, but without this lower part. Yeah, like this, and scale it sideways. Yeah, like this, and scale it. Well, actually I'm not gonna scale it. I'm going to move the whole back part backwards, like this, because I have free space over here, like this, so the mag will rest there nice, and with the slight clearance for the mag. Turn on the mag, and yeah, that looks better. Okay, so let's export the magazine form back into Maya. Import. Here it is. As you can see, this form is a bit higher than this dimension box here. So let's move those guys lower along the surface of this polygon. I was holding D and clicked on the polygon and just drag those guys lower. However, I do not need to do that, right? Because there's this plastic like grip extension, and it's gonna be a different object. So for this thing, it's okay to be this long. So this is how I'm going to do the mag. Basically, I'm going to do a box, and I'll place this cutout over here, and I will model it in Maya, so that after this I could give the whole shape a thickness, considering this part, and all the rest cutouts, like this high part and all that kind of stuff, that will be done in ZBrush. So Okay, so let's go back into ZBrush, turn off the frame, and duplicate the magazine and import just a box. Like this. Center the pivot, Shift D, and rotate it 45 degrees so that, and another 90 degrees so that the edge sticking towards the magazine. Now reset the pivot like this, and now let's align the box according to the surface of the magazine, somewhere like this. It does not have to be 100% accurate. Okay, now let's extend this like so. Make it, turn it to subtract, and move to this thing, to this place. Now the rest is going to be done with the rotation, proper rotation. And I'm just going to eyeball this part because it's not that 100% important, so I'm not following the reference that much. See, I'm like changing the specs of this thing by scaling it sideways and rotating along this axis. Okay, so, well, I actually think this should look like this. Looks fine to me. So let's double check with the reference. Yep. Could be a bit more. Move it there. Well, yeah. Okay, this looks fine. This looks fine to me. Duplicate it, mirror, same thing, and merge those two guys together, like so. And now let's export these boxes into Maya. Yep. Delete these guys, we don't need them. Import one, like this. So now what I'm going to do, first of all, go to side view. Yeah, this is good. So select this mesh, go into booleans and difference. Here you go. Alt-Shift-D to clear the history. Apply a single material so that it will shade equally. Okay, so now I have this form. What I want to do is just add the thickness to the walls of the magazine, so I'll just delete these faces, the bottom part and the top one, like that. Alright, and I also would like to connect those verts so that it would look better. Like, for any kind of issues could occur with ZBrush automatically connecting points, I want to have like a total control over that. So turn on the symmetry, connect those guys like this, and this looks good. So now what I want to do is to add some thickness to the magazine, and also would like to move the rounds a bit further. So what's this one? Yep, like this. So basically you can select the whole mesh and hit Control E, right? And now you can see this arrow, and I'm going to drag along and do as much thickness as possible so that the cartridge will fit in it. well, there's a cool thing about Maya that if you drag your middle mouse button along the empty canvas, it will repeat the last action you were doing. So in my case, I was dragging this arrow, so I just like can place my camera at proper position and just drag the middle mouse button on the empty canvas to see how like my action affects like certain parts on my screen. You can see this, like I move it up and down like so. Really handy tool. So, well, somewhat like this is okay, I guess. Turn to the object mode, switch to the object mode, flip the normals. Here we go, and here is the nice base like shape for the magazine. Let's export it back into ZBrush, crease it out. We can delete these guys. Yep, now let's do the creasing. Crease, crease, hit D. And what I want to do is to crease every polygon over here, every triangle shape. So go into lasso mode, select an area that that could only touch this required triangle, and cut the rest and crease. And do the same for another one, like this. Cut the other guys out. Crease, hit D, almost there. Crease this part as well. It almost looks good. We have this artifact a bit over here just because we need to crease this part as well. Don't see it on the other side. The symmetry was turned off. Same here. Crease. Yeah, now it looks good. And one last thing here is that you can see that those vertices, they're not perfectly aligned. So just select those faces and mask, turn off the selection, flip the mask, center the pivot, and just scale those into one line, like so. And now it's done. So the purpose why I did the Boolean thing in Maya is because I wanted to give this shape a thickness. I could do this in ZBrush and just keep with those boxes cutting out this thing, but I was not able to do a thickness, and I had to cut this like emptiness with another tool. So now I have this like perfect looking like sheet metal, and now we can cut. Okay, so before that I would like to add like this base grip extender part. So in order to do that, I will select my grip shape, mesh, export it into Maya, and delete this guy. So in order to this thing perfectly match with the shape of the grip, I will just use like these bottom faces, so that the distance between all the vertices will remain the same along like this perimeter, and the shading and like the form will be maintained. And actually I forgot that this box is a representative of the height of the gun, so I'm not going to delete that, just Control Z back to it. So select these faces, select all the rest, delete, go into side view, and let's just like extend, shift drag, extend this part towards here. Make sure like here's like the flow is maintaining like so. So now I will delete these guys, right? And I will cap those holes, close holes like this. Alright, so I have this shape done. I'll go back into ZBrush, send it back into ZBrush. Go into magazine, duplicate, import one, shift, crease this part, smooth it out, and you can see it is repeating the shape, just add a bit more at subdivision level, 3 or even 4. Yeah, here is on 4, here is on 4 the same, so as you can see it repeats the shape perfectly. So and at this point I can actually also edit this. I don't like that this part goes like too much forward. I can mask out these guys and move it in just a bit like this. And actually I'm going to move these guys right here at this point, because the rest is going to be cutted, or even higher, because I need to match it over here like so. Okay, and as you can see it's almost matching, and I'm going to move it like this. Well, it almost matches, but it should not be like 100% matching, because we're gonna cut it right now and it's okay. So now we need to cut the rest shapes. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is to make Boolean mesh, collapse the Boolean meshes, Booleans right here. Select this mesh, Control W, export it, import one. Yeah, great. And on the base of this mesh, I can now create the shape to cut to create a cut that will fit this like slot over here. So I can delete this guy, go into side view, create a box. I could use the shape that is used to cut this thing, but I had to like flip it. It's easier for me to just create another box like this, move it, and vertex, move it like so, create a supporting edge, extrude and extrude again like this. And basically I created the wrong one. Okay, that is a no problem. I just created a cutting tool for the grip again. That is not a problem. Just delete those faces and those, and you have this thing. Now I just need to extrude it upwards and basically just delete this guy. Select all the edges, shift drag, with move, scale them into one. Alright, object mode, select all the edges, deselect those, and bridge those opposite ones like this. Okay, now flip the normals and export this thing back. Okay, don't forget to go back into your subtools with dynamic booleans and duplicate this one, import our cutting shape, Shift D, set to subtract, and there's one tricky part. As you can see, it's cutting this shape as well. So what I will do is just to put this one lower than the cutting shape, like this. And you can see that it cuts here and then just adds this guy on top of it. So it's not affecting. All right. So turn on the frame and let's check the reference. How does it look from different angles? How big is the gap? You can see actually here that the shape of the width of the extension is not matching the real grip, so we can duplicate that as well. Here's the side view. You can see that right here it sticks out more than here, and like the gap over here at the back is a bit bigger. All those subtle details that can be done. So for example, in order to do that gap a bit more, select these verts and move the cutting tool a bit lower, right, like this, so you can see the gap more. We can actually move. I just turned off my masking, and now I can move the whole tool lower, like so that the gap could be bigger. And also what I can do is select those verts, invert mask, and move them so that the lines were parallel, like so. Yeah, now it looks good right there. And right, now for the thickness, you can select this shape and just scale it sideways like this. Another cool part about ZBrush is that you're actually scaling like this shape while the cutting tools are staying the same. They're not affected by any sort of that thing, so it's kind of cool. It gives you a lot of freedom in editing any shape you want. So okay, so this part looks good. Now let's do this part over here. So first of all, I need a cut over here, really familiar to this one. Let's go into back view, and yeah, you can see it's pretty much like there. So what I can do here is go to my frame folder and let's save the scene. Go into frame folder and without searching it for too long, you just hide the magazine folder and just alt click on this part, and here it is. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate this shape and move it all the way up to the magazine folder. So in order to do that, I have this one, hold control and upper arrow button on the keyboard. Just click it all the way up like this, and turn it to subtraction, obviously. Turn off the frame, turn on the mag, and turn on the wireframe, and just move it whatever you need it. So I need to check this thing. So this like line over here is a bit further back comparing to this one. So I can move it like this. Okay. So that's another cool thing, that you can use like the same cutting tool and for different meshes. All right. This looks good. So now let's save the scene. Turn off the frame and see how the magazine looks. Let's compare it to the You can see like this rim around the metal part over here. I don't have that one, and I'll need to create one. So, all right, I just clicked. This thing does the rotation along only one axis. This thing goes for both. Just randomly clicked on that one. So there are two things that left here, is this rim part and this like bottom part. Let's go with the rim part. So let's save the scene. Again, I do that all the time as much as possible because this ZBrush can crash at any moment. So in order to do that, I will just update my meshes. So the same thing here, boolean, make boolean mesh. Go into this tool and select the magazine, Control W, and export it here. Delete this thing and delete this thing as well. Import number 1. Here you go. This one can be hidden. Turn off the wireframe is this icon. And I think I can use already existing mesh of the Mac for that rim. So go back here. Yeah, you can notice that there's a lot of going back and forth between two programs and exporting and importing stuff, a lot of that, and I actually got used to this. It's still quite fast even if you have to do this, but it's okay. So I moved those vertices and just gonna eyeball the height of this ring. I guess it's somewhere like from here to here. That's okay, I guess. And let's delete everything above like this. And as far as I remember, yeah, it is, those guys are faces. And one thing in here is it's not like 100% horizontally aligned, so just scale it like this. Now select all the faces and extrude, Control E, move it down, right, go into side view, select the vertices and move them right here like this. Now another thing that I want to do, select the face and hold shift and double click on the next face and it will select all the loop. Control E to extrude and just drag it out. This is going to be the maximum thickness of this ring. See, it's not equal because, I don't know. Select the top one, guys, and scale them so that they were in line. Same thing here. Okay. So this is the thickness, and it is tapered. So the quick way to do that is just add a supporting edge somewhere right here, and now just delete this edge. Here we go. This is a tapered version of that thing. All right, let's turn the material. Yeah, this looks good. I like it. This looks nice. So I would like to move those verts a bit lower so that they just come in to this part, so that when I collapse all the meshes, they were welded together. So I need to intersect them each other just a bit. Okay, that's good. So next thing is this part. I can use the same mesh from this thing to do this part here. So same thing here, go to this guy, export it. Whoops, this thing sometimes happens. Export it again, rename it. Yep. Import one. Like, you can see this part is really low poly. It's definitely not enough polygons for the low poly mesh, and I will like suffer of it on the low poly stage, but it's not like that bad. It always happens with shapes like this frame because it's like it is too hard to control this flowing shape when you have a lot of vertices. It's much easier to control it and to change the form with like a smaller amount of vertices, because when you move like one vertex, it affects like a bigger shape, so the shape looks more smooth and not wobbly. So like this is like a downside of those complex and flowing shapes using these meshes. Well, it will be more understandable when I'm going to do the low poly model. Right now it doesn't matter. The only thing that should be matters is how it looks smoothed. So let's move those guys lower. No, first of all, delete the top faces. Now let's move those guys lower using the edge slide like this. Right. So also I would like to add a supporting edge right here, and do I need that? No, I guess I will not be needing that, because I'll keep it without supporting edge. It will be better if I just cut this part with another. So, but another part that I would like to do is this like curb. I don't know how to call it, a cap, a peak, something. So it goes a bit further front, and it has this thing. I think I would model it like the classic way. So select these guys and nope, turn out the slide. Move it like this. Also move those guys higher. Select these, the bottom faces, and just extrude. Turn up the symmetry. It's not going to work with symmetry. Extrude those like this, so that we have this like straight thing. And now let's do this weld, target weld those guys. Same thing here. Yeah, like this. Now let's create the top cap, like so. Add a supporting edge over here, like this. Add another one over here. Connect those guys together with the symmetry on. Smooth it out. Select the material, like this. I don't bother about the top part because I'm going to crease it. But the bottom part I'm not going to crease because it should be smooth. I guess, or not. Actually, no. I will smooth it with the Dynameshed version. So now let's move those guys in like this. See how it's gonna look. Okay, so I have this rough representation of this shape, and let's go back into ZBrush with creasing. So select the lowest guy and duplicate it and import right shift D. Let's basically set this thing to a new object, so it's not going to be welded with this one. And crease it at the proper places, like the top part, the bottom part. Click D, and now I want to crease this part like this without, with like this. Oops, let's turn the tolerance on the crease higher. Okay, it's almost what I want. Something's missing. Turn on the symmetry by clicking X. And let's edit those verts so that the shading, the edge flow could look better. Move those guys in. Let's increase the subdivision to 4. So one thing I don't like here is this over here, this part. So I'll try to move that vertex accordingly. Well, I guess it happens because we have a triangle there, and this thing just be there. Well, you cannot actually see this from this distance. Right now I'm like checking the reference if it looks proper. Let's check the width of that lower part. It's pretty much the same width. So So as you can see, I don't like this here. Looks wrong. Okay, let's add a cutting box with the bottom part over here. Duplicate it, import box, center, scale it up, turn to subtraction, and move it in the right position. Rotate it like so. And this part is too sharp. I guess I would like create another box and turn it to subtract as well. Rotate it somewhat like this and cut this sharp corner like so. Easy as that. Yeah. So right now, well, with this thing, what I would like to do is to create a test run for the dynameshing. So let's save the scene. Yep. And turn off the frame and just go to booleans, dsub div, make boolean mesh. Now let's go to this one and see if I dynamesh it, if this thing disappears. So select the resolution, try to make it pretty high. As you can see, I selected I guess too much. It computes too long. Yeah, 2.3 millions, that's too much for this part. So let's go into 440. Yeah, that's okay. So now polish crisp edges. Let's just start polishing this thing like so. This is the level of polish it will get. Well, this looks okay. You know, this looks pretty much the same actually. Looks somewhere there. So yeah, I'll just keep it like this. It's okay. So go back into Maya, select this guy over here, export it, and select something above this like bottom part, duplicate, import, Shift D, and select the top faces and the bottom faces, crease those out, click D, and here we go. This looks good. So another thing I want to do is actually separate those two parts, like this thing and the bottom part, because they actually are different, like at least materials. So I'll just move this guy up here and turn this into this arrow. Same thing with this guy, turn on this thing. And who is this? Why are you here? Oh, it just flipped out of the folder. Move it into the folder back. Yeah. Okay, so now like I placed this arrow here, which means that this is a separate shape from this one. And like one more thing I want to do is to cut like this magazine shape out of this coping part, because right now it just like comes onto each other, and it's not the best way, because like logically every part should be somehow connected. Just placing one thing on top of another thing is not correct, because it should be like at least when it's not glued together, and obviously this thing is not glued to each other, there have to be like a hole or something like that when you can see that it goes inside of another thing. So for these purposes, I'll duplicate this form and go all the way down over here and set it to subtract. So now if I turn off this thing, you can see that this thing is cut it out right here. But we have this, like, what the hell is that? Oh, right. So because it's too thin, and this is goes to from the inside, so I can fix that, I guess I can fix that. Well, okay, this is like a really brute version of what I'm going to do, but just select these faces, invert, select the top part, invert. We have somehow disappeared this part and this part. Oh, come on. Okay, let's do it separately. So invert, delete hidden, right? So it basically what it did, it just deleted those faces. Same thing for the top. Invert, delete hidden. Now click auto groups, and it will automatically group like shapes that are not touching each other. So you can see the outer part and the inner part. Now select the outer part, or inner part, and flip the selection, and now delete hidden again, and now go into geometry. Like we're left only with this like the outer shell. Modify topology and close holes. So as you can see, just like randomly connected vertices with each other and closed that hole. So let's go back, and you can see there's no more like artifacts or something. It looks how it should look. So okay, now it cuts out. Go back to this guy. All right. So let's move on with the magazine. Save the scene. Yes. Let's turn on the cartridge. All right, here it is here. So let's duplicate the cartridge and move it into position in the magazine. somewhere like this. And now let's do those kind of cutouts. Right, so it is not symmetrical. As you can see, like, you have this dip thing here, and there's no of that here. So let's start forming that stuff. Okay, so select this guy, duplicate it, and then import a box. Center the pivot, scale it up just a bit, set to subtract, and let's now form this cutout. Which starts even further like this. And okay, so here's another ZBrush trick. What I need to do here is to continue the cutout, but straight from here like this. So what I'm going to do is just extrude this face and go into Z Modeler, hover over the face, and just drag it out. By default, it is just extruding the current face. Now select those guys and move them right like this. And to make sure that it is perfectly straight, just select those and scale them like this. Here we go. All right, this looks good. So there's also this like cylindric cutout over here on the one side, which is the left side. Yes, let's do that thing as well. Actually, let's duplicate the round here, move it lower so that we could see that like this, and further back. I'll turn off this guy for better picture. Yeah, like this. All right, so about that cylinder. So let's go into Maya, and this is actually a pretty common form for me. I do use that quite a lot, and I think I should add it to my collection of those cylinders, but it's not that common. Well, okay, so how to do that? You just grab the half of the cylinder, extrude it, set supporting edges, and that's it. I'm going to place it correctly in ZBrush, export it, select this shape, duplicate and import like so. So now let's crease both sides, hit D, right? Let's now move it and scale it properly like this. Set it to subtract, and let's place it correctly. this, and let's make it longer. Mask out these guys and just move them like this. Let's rotate it so that it would like follow the line right here. Always double check on the reference. Yeah, that's fine. This looks good. Okay, so now you can see here those are the feed lips, and they're like tapered inside. I will also do that. For now, let's do this thing. Like, this is the window where the bolt catches the round and pushes it forward into the barrel. Okay, so let's do simple box. Duplicate, import one. No, not this one, box. Move it accordingly. Set to subtract. Right. Scale it somewhere like this. Select the top guys and scale them out like so. Yep, this is pretty good. And the only thing left here is are those feed lips. So I guess I'll have to go back into Maya with those guys because so save the scene. And it's pretty cool. Another thing that you can actually like select this shape, go into Maya, edit it in any way you want, and just drop it back over here, and all of those cutting shapes, they will still remain and do the same thing they were doing previously. So it's kind of cool. So let's go back into, well, you know, in Maya I will have to set decreasing back. So okay, let's try to do this in ZBrush. So this is going to be not that comfortable and easy as in Maya, but so select the top faces, no, just top faces, not the side. Yeah, now Control W for making it the single poly group, like unhide all, Shift D for better manipulation. Now go into ZModeler, hover over the face, hold space, and here are some many options which we can do with a face. So if we like drag face right now, it just extrudes a single face. So what I need to extrude is a whole polygroup. Select polygroup all. And what it does over here, as you can see, it drags out the whole polygroup. Now we can go back to Control W. And as you can see, it's already creased. So this is another pro. Okay, so right now I will select these guys and just scale them in like this. Yep, this will do. This looks good. So one thing I have to edit here is this, like, should double check the reference all the time. I have my second monitor and I'm looking at the reference all the time. It's really important. So yeah, I think this looks good. This looks like pretty good. All right, so another thing here is to move those guys like to front so that it will follow the silhouette. like this. Yeah, now it looks good. Now it looks exactly how it should look. Just double checking if the thickness of those guys is the same. I guess it is. Well, what if I do this? Yeah, I think I'll do this because I like the way this like part is cutted opposed to this one, because it forms one single like surface. So what I'm gonna do here is just to extend this shape right here. Yeah, this looks better. Okay, yeah, this looks good. So this is almost done for the magazine. There are a couple things left here. For example, this cut, those hole cuts, and actually this pattern over here. Yeah, this thing. Well, the square thing can be easily done in Substance Painter with like painting on normal map, but this thing is quite unique, and I think I should model it because it will be really hard to achieve on just like painting level. So, however, it consists of pretty simple shapes, so it will be really easy to model. So I'm going to do that. All right, and for now, let's finish up those cuts over here. So I don't really know what kind of shape is that. It looks different in all angles, so I'll go with the box. So select this guy. Actually, I do have a box already, so just duplicate it and move it in, and set to subtract. Move it in more and just scale it over. Just adjust the form. Like so. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to do those holes and this thing on the texturing part, because those are easily to be added. So I'm not going to model these things because they are pretty easy to do afterwards on the texturing process. So delete this guy out. And another thing that I want to mention is that actually we do not need the whole depth of the magazine, because you will never be able to see the interior of the magazine, and it's not necessary, and it will consume the texturing, like texture map, extra space on the texture map, and some additional polygons. So what I want to do is to actually make the magazine solid since this point, and in order to do that, just like export this thing back in Maya. Yeah, I'll have to do those creases again, unfortunately. So hide this guy, import like this, and well, actually no, I'll go with the easier way. What I'm going to do here is to first of all delete the top edges, do the same with the bottom edges. Now select, double click on the face on the outer shell and delete it. Now we have the interior shell, and what I'm going to do here is just to connect those guys and those guys like this. Yeah, I selected too much here, like so. Connect, go into side view, edge slide, scale them into one, move them right over here, scale them once again, and now connect two sides right here and right here. So let's scale those right. Delete those guys, this and this. Weld these vertices. Same on this side. I don't need these guys anymore. Control backspace and select vertices like this, and now just delete this top part. And right now this interior mesh, it's like perfectly aligned with the interior thing, so I want to make it just stand out just a bit in thickness, so like so it goes into the mag. Now what I do, just click on this face, double click on the next one, delete these guys, and select those edges and cap those. Same thing here, cap those guys and flip the normals. Okay, so now I just have a filler for a magazine. Yep, so go on the lowest one and just import this guy. Yep. So now if I turn off cartridges and the barrel as well, you can see that this thing is not deep enough, and that's okay. So that's okay for me. So I'll be able to see like 2 cartridges, I guess even third one. Let's do the third one. Duplicate and turn off, move it like this, turn on the mag back, move this guy in. Yeah, so now like you can see 3 rounds over there, and the bottom part of the magazine will be black, so this is 100% okay. And the holes will be fake, like on the back side and on the front, so this should work. So this looks good. Save the scene. And one last thing for the mag is this like crazy pattern. Where is it? Here it is. So what I can see here is basically boxes. Right, where is it? Right, here it is. So we have like one box on the center and just boxes creating this like footsteps pattern, and I think it's going to be pretty easy to achieve. So there are 3 rows of that, so select this guy, go on the very bottom here, duplicate, import a box, right, center the pivot, shift D, and right now it is perfectly centered on the coordinates. This is good. This is exactly what I need. So scale it like this. I'm just going to eyeball this thing like somewhere there. I'll be able to control it anytime further. like move it in like this. And now what I'm going to do is just, I don't want to duplicate all those subtools once again because it's going to be like a long stack of those guys, really long one. So I just hold control and drag this guy out here and move it in. You can see that the previous one is masked. It's good. And let's count those. Like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 boxes coming out. And 2. And each one goes deeper. Then goes the third one. 3, 4, and the fifth one. Okay, turn off the masking and now just rotate it. Let's see. So this thing should be wider. I've centered the pivot and just scale those guys. Whoops. Turn it off. Yeah, this is a proper width. Or even that's too much. As you can see here, it's not going that far. Okay, so Control Z and scale it just like this. And now let's auto groups and move and rotate each one of those guys. I'm selecting those by Control Shift and click, and it masks the one that I need. Yeah, this looks okay. Another thing, they should be in like in one line. Like so. Okay, so this looks good. This looks nice. And now duplicate this thing, mirror it, and delete the center one because we already have one like this. And now let's merge those two guys together. Yep. And just Control drag and make the second row and the third one. Can move it in more. This one move out a bit more. Yeah, this looks fine. And the same thing should be on the back side, but I'm afraid it's not gonna repeat the pattern. So duplicate and mirror along the Y. No, along Z. No, not Z. Y. Yeah, well, Y. Move those guys into back. Same thing here. Just now rotate it this way and move it in. Yeah, as you can see, it's not repeating the shape. This requires manual adjustment again. Okay, so auto groups and select those guys that I need, like these guys. The rest can be deleted, right? So now let's edit those just the same way. Try to align them. Double check with the reference. Yep, looks better. Yeah, this looks okay. So same thing here, duplicate this guy, mirror along the X, delete the center one because we already have this. Now merge those guys together and Control W and just duplicate those guys in 3 rows. Holding Control. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, this is exactly what I was aiming for. Merge those 2 patterns together, and I guess this is pretty much it for the magazine. So, okay. Also, one thing left here. There's probably a bolt over here. I'll try to search for references about this, like the bottom part here, but except that it's almost done. So let's save the scene and let's move on.